Hello again, my name's Gabe Zolna. I don't buy it. I simply don't buy it. So what are they saying now on the Fox News channel? And this is in reference to Andreas Lubitz. Well, for one thing, they said they found antidepressants at his home. How few homes do you think have some sort of antidepressants in the medicine chest? I don't buy it for a whole lot of reasons. I don't buy that anybody that's even insane could sit in the front seat of an Airbus hurtling towards mountains and be calm, according to what's been reported with the voice recorder. They couldn't be calm. The only way they could be calm is if I said in countless other videos, he had to be at total peace with himself. Now, they've told us that they found doctor's notes, torn up doctor's notes. If you've been viewing me for a while, you know that I've reached out to the International Civil Aviation Organization. And I've sent them an email requesting specific information. What am I looking for? Well, I'm trying to determine, and I hope I will determine, if the requirements for transport pilots are the same in Europe as they are here in the United States. I can't imagine that they're not. It wouldn't make any sense if they weren't the same. And in one of the postings that I put up on my channel, I talked about how the FAA in 2013 recognized and admitted Andreas Lubitz as a transport pilot, which would require him, as I stated in that video, to comply with all of the FAA requirements. I can't imagine that doctors anywhere would simply sit back and write a note to him to let him know that he's not qualified to act as a pilot or a co-pilot for one of the divisions of Lufthansa, specifically German wings. It doesn't make any sense. As I've said, in the United States, if you go to the doctor and they determine that you have glaucoma, a serious case of glaucoma, if your heart is no longer functioning properly and you become a risk for a massive heart attack, they're going to contact the Department of Transportation. They're going to contact any agency that they know you're associated with. That's their responsibility to do so. How can these doctors, and there's more than one from what we've been told, how can these doctors simply write a note letting Andreas Lubitz know that he can't continue flying as a pilot or co-pilot? Now they're saying that, according to the notes, he's had a condition that would cause him to lose his eyesight. Have any of these doctors been named? Have any of them been interviewed? We're not aware of any of those events having taken place. Do you not find that sort of strange? They're also saying that from what they've been able to determine from the notes, not speaking with the doctors, that Andreas Lubitz's condition might be psychosomatic. In other words, not real. None of this makes any sense. And again, the key to all of this will be, as far as I'm concerned, what the International Civil Aviation Organization reports. And I'm just amazed that Fox News or no other agency that I'm aware of has reached out to the International Civil Aviation Organization. And as I've stated in a couple of other videos, we know for a fact that a number of Fox News talking heads are pilots. They know how the system works in the United States. Don't you think they'd be curious to know, as I'm curious to know, as to how it works in Europe or anywhere else throughout the world? I can't imagine it's any different. It wouldn't make any sense. If Lubitz was authorized to fly in the United States because he was put into the FAA database, once again, he must comply with all of the FAA regulations. And the book that has those regulations is about that thick. It's called FAR, Federal Aviation Regulations. We'll see. I'll be certain to be reaching out to the International Civil Aviation Organization after the weekend. I'm not going to wait for a response. I told you what I think. I wish some pilots that reside in Europe, that fly in Europe, that are transport pilots, would shed some light on this. I'm actually amazed that so far none have. Nobody could do what Lubitz did, I believe, unless he was at total peace with himself, no different than a suicide bomber that walks into a mall and detonates an explosive vest. They could only do that if they're at peace with themselves. I told you what I think. The question now is, what do you think?